So, what is Qi? First of all, before I begin this video, I have to say that English is not my primary language. Also, in these videos, I will probably use some Chinese words too, and Chinese is not my primary language as well. So I could make some mistake both in English and Chinese, but I'll try to do my best and I'll try to avoid mistakes, but I know it will happen. Well, what is Qi? You have probably already heard this word in many video games or anime or movies or whatever. But what it is exactly? We can translate Qi as energy, even if it is not the perfect translation for this word. But we could take it as energy. Let's say it works. Before we begin to talk about Qi, we have to introduce a few things. Or to better say, a few concepts. At the beginning, there was the Supreme Pole. The Supreme Pole is everything, every possible creature being so harmonized to be as one. Then it begins to agitate, and by this agitation, Yin and Yang arise. Then by the union of Yin and Yang, the 5 Qi arise. I had to change location cause there was a lot of bats flying there. We was talking about Yin and Yang and the 5 Qi, so let's define now what are Yin and Yang and what are the 5 Qi. When we talk about Yin and Yang, we are not talking about two different quality or two different type of Qi. Yin and Yang, actually we have to say that Qi is always Qi in this case. So Yin and Yang are not two different kinds of Qi. Many people interpret Yin and Yang as a sort of female energy and male energy, because Yin and Yang are usually they represent sky and earth, or sun and moon, or light and darkness, black and white. So many people interpret Yin and Yang as a sort of female energy and male energy. Actually, it is not really the case. This is not really the case, and we'll now see why. We could say that an empty bag is Yin, while the same bag full of things, of many things, it is Yang. At the same time, a glass full of water, it is Yang. An empty glass is Yin. So you can see now that Yin and Yang are not really two different kind of Qi, but Yin and Yang are actually like a condition, are more like a condition, and something or someone can be Yin or Yang in relation to something else. Something can be Yin in relation to something else, but also can be Yang in relation to another thing. Usually in human species, the male tend to be more Yang in relation to the female, but this is just generally speaking. There are always some exceptions. I have personally known some person who were biologically female, but they were actually more Yang, much Yang than many average male. On the other hand, there are some people who are born in a male body, but they are actually very Yin. So we can see that Yin and Yang are not two different kind of Qi, but they are more like two different conditions, and something is Yin or Yang in relation to something else. It is different if we talk about the 5 Qi. What are the 5 Qi? The 5 Qi are really 5 different kind of Qi. In Chinese esotericism, there are 5 elements: water, earth, fire, wood and metal. It is different from Western esotericism or Indian, where the elements are 4. In Chinese esotericism, the elements are 5. And these 5 elements are also the 5 Qi. So they perfectly correspond to the 5 Qi. Water, fire, metal, earth, and wood. These are the 5 elements and the 5 Qi. So they are really 5 different kind of Qi. We will see maybe in other videos that these elements are also important, not only for the practice, but also for the Chinese medicine. and exoterism in general. So having explained this, the main question remains: what is Qi? How can I experience Qi? I think the first thing to do if you want to learn something about Qi is to directly experience it. So how can I experience it? Well, if you want to experience Qi, what you have to search is Qigong. Qigong is a composite word. Qi is energy, we already know it, and Gong means work. So Qigong is a sort of like work with energy, working with energy, or we can also take it as energy workout. Like in bodybuilding, you build your muscular mass, you build your muscles. In Qigong, you work with your energy and you build your energy. What you do in Qigong is at first experience your Qi, then the next step are collecting it or exchanging it with the environment, with nature, and in order to purify and elevate your Qi. The objectives are to accumulate Jing, then transform Jing into Qi, and then use this Qi to nourish Shen, which is spirit. These are the Sambao, Jing Qi Shen. But we'll talk about this in another video in a more detailed way. This is just a general talk about Qi. When we talk about Qi, many people know it with the Japanese word Ki, and many people will very probably soon think to some very popular animes or video games where people fight against each other throwing energy balls, or there are some ninja doing crazy stuff. If you practice Qigong, you will notice that Qi in reality it behaves a lot differently than how it behaves in these movies, video games, manga, and so on. What happens with these animes sometimes is that they begin from some real base. They have some real starting point. But this real base is probably taken from martial arts or Chinese medicine or whatever. They are brought to an impossible level. It is like the ability to jump. We all know that jump is possible. There are some techniques to train you to jump more, to jump higher, but you cannot jump to the moon. That's impossible. This is what happens with this anime or movies or video games, but they are fictional opera, so this is perfectly fine. So what you have to search if you really want to experience Qi is Qigong. There are many books who talk about this topic, and there are also many schools. If you search, if you live in a big enough town, you will probably have you will probably find some good Qigong teacher. What you have to do is to pay attention and not fall in scammers, people who they will maybe told you that they know it very well, but they actually don't. You have to pay attention to this. So how you can avoid to fall into these scammers? What you have to do is to always keep studying by yourself. Even if you find someone who really looks like a good teacher, a valid person, never trust someone 100%. Remember that despite a person may look like incredibly good, incredibly prepared, incredibly wow, that person is always a person, and a person may do some mistakes sometimes. No one is perfect. So remember to always search your books, search the materials you like, keep studying, never stop studying. If you study, you can easily recognize some people who are just scammers and people who are real teachers, who are prepared, who know what they are doing. So to practice Qigong in a good way, my advice is to always keep doing both things. Find a good teacher and at the same time never stop studying by yourself. So for this video I think it's enough. In the next videos we will talk about many other singular subjects and we will go much more in the details. I hope this video has been useful to you, even at least a bit. If you have liked it, see you in the next videos.